There is a concern there.
Also, given this acceleration that you speak about, that AI could eventually make governments irrelevant. It could make countries, nations, the concept of sovereignty irrelevant, make humankind in a way irrelevant, that it'll exercise such humongous control over the lives of people and nations that the very idea of a sovereign AI simply doesn't exist. There's a debate going on that. Do you see that debate accelerating as well? The concerns that are there over just where will AI take us?
I think that there are very legitimate concerns about where will AI take us. But, I'd parse that out in a couple of different ways. I think you make an excellent point around applied AI. We get to decide that, right? Like we write code. We decide where code gets deployed. We decide where systems get deployed. We should be thoughtful about where are we using AI, how far are we pushing, how quickly are we pushing, and what kind of rules and regulations are we putting in place both inside our own companies and at a government level around how we want to see AI deployed. Then there's the question of what happens at the theoretical level, right? What happens at the edge of the development of technology. And I think there's some real concerns there that will continue to be debated, and we will continue to see how that rolls out.
No, but in practical terms, a more authoritarian regime like China, for example, which is pushing ahead with AI innovation, perhaps can have state oversight. What do democratic societies do? How do they build guardrails in the times in which we live? Will they be at all able to build guardrails? How do I control any of what AI does in the lives of the people who perhaps have elected me in a democratic society? Are these thoughts that are being at least considered at the moment within your companies or within the world of AI?
Yeah. I don't think so. AI is such a strategic advantage that personally I don't think so there's one AI rule book that will be written, but people will come together to put the governance and the guardrails. I think so the way to think is when the governance and guardrails you put into your enterprises and business, where I come from, you have to apply similar thing, little bit different for AI. What you can do, how you can put. In that same kind of collaboration will happen. Not exactly everyone may follow the same rule book, but discussions are happening saying, how do you do that? When you build an autonomy in some kind of a system, you have to build observability. You have to build things like auditability. All these things are being discussed, saying how do you build the next level of small language model, process models, business-centric models, things like that.
I also think there's an important role for consumers to play and everyday folks to play, which is, do we have the level of transparency that we want to have about how decisions are being made when AI is being used, right? And so if AI is being used in order to determine my eligibility for a loan so I can purchase a home, or whether or not I'm admitted to a certain school or a certain program or whatever, I want transparency in what rules are in place on what governs that AI. I want to understand what the provenance of the data is that's being used to make those types of decisions. Those are things that will help engender trust in the systems that we have and help us learn how we can deploy AI in a way that doesn't feel as scary, but actually feels very helpful and accretive to our daily lives.